and blessings, everybody. Welcome back on again to the Nerd, the Ninja, and the Nubian. I am one of your hosts, Ebony Payne English, and I am going to bring up our co-host to the stage. He is founder of the Nerd Slam and curator of all blurred shenanigans this side of the Mason-Dixie line. I need y'all to give it up for LJ.
Yeah. What up, no. Leo gang in the house. Leo gang. Get a hype, my fault.
And tonight we have a very, very special guest with
us. Wait, Em, before we bring up a special guest, we have another person. He is known as one of the dopest MCs and dopest poets this side of the world. Coming all the way also from Jacksonville, North Carolina. I'm gonna go ahead, bring him in.
How could I ever forget Duval's finest, the incomparable Moses West, everyone.
Yeah.
What the deal? Yo, I'm not from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
I'm in Florida, man. It was an accident.
That's the wrong Jacksonville. That's the.
I'm sorry. It was an accident, man. It's been a long day. And a long month. So
I'm from where the racist situations went down. We named directly after Andrew Jackson. Okay, he came down here. He destroyed forts. He killed black people, and he got a city named after.
And it begins. I'm excited. I'm ready.
What's happening?
I just wrote a poem about that, by the way.
Oh yeah, we good. I'm hyped.
I just wrote a poem about Andrew Jackson and him being allergic to the sun. It's like I put it on a song Travel Light, and my cousin Genesis did the beat for it. Like I'm about to drop that song.
Let's go.
Interesting.
Aren't
that
they all
was
allergic
mind to
to
me.
the sun?
Huh?
Ain't no people all allergic to the sun?
Yes, that's the point, darling. That's the point.
I get it. But yeah, that's what's up though, man. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
So now I can get to our special guest. Okay.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
All right. Tonight's guest has been my black president since he was pre-Obama. Before that nigga even really considered the magnitude of his actions. You know what I'm saying? This dude was holding it down for poets for the South and for my family. So I need y'all to give it up for the former president and founding member of Black on Black Rhyme International, the former president and founding board member of Southern Fried Poetry Incorporated, and the executive director of Southern Fried Incorporated. I need y'all to show some mad love for Mahogany Rose's godfather, Shadow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate the love. It's good to see y'all. Knife Game Beautiful in the house.
Yes, sir.
Payne,
yeah,
LJ.
Yeah.
I love y'all.
What up?
It's good to see y'all.
Good to see you too. I'm loving how you showed off that backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, the Royal Garden.
Oh, you talking about this right here?
Yes, that right, all that right there. Yes.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of hard work. I'll step out the frame so y'all can see it better. All right. Enough of that.
Yeah.
But now, man, it's good to see y'all. Thank you for having me on the show.
Last time we were together, we was in that garden. Last time all three of us was together.
Yes. I still got the picture.
You said last time all three of us was... You're right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ebony wasn't there. It was me, LJ, and Mo.
That's fine. I was there another time, and I brought my baby.
Ebony got her own VIP access. She got on VIP access.
I got a card.
So what's going on, Shadow? Well, first off, I guess As always, for anybody that's new to tuning into the show, what we normally do with the show, we when we have special guests, we always do like a quick interview with the guests before we get into our actual panel and start having fun with the show. So I guess for me, starting off, how is everything going for you, especially during this time of pandemic? As far as like how are you handling things during this time?
Man, that's a great question. I appreciate that. It's it takes a little bit of creativity, obviously. Being kind of quarantined. I've been counting the weeks actually, and I think this is like week 25 right now, which is just crazy to me. So essentially, how I've been trying to get through it is trying to get back to nature. So I spend a lot of time back here in the backyard. I have a garden with my wife Buki. So it's been really cool trying to tend to that and just trying to get back to basics. I think that's the main thing I learned about this pandemic is it forces you essentially to go back to what's most needed, what your biggest necessities are.
Definitely. I'm passing to you, Eb.
Um, I have been a range of things and a whole assortment of emotions and temperaments. But I have prevailed and I am still here. And I'm healthy and I've spent a lot of necessary time with my daughter. And I've been able to explore some ventures that I never had the time to sit down.
Mahogany.
Hey, mahogany.
I've been on the high end of that, just dwelling in being present and grateful. But I've also been mad sad to be away from the stage. This is the longest break I've ever taken in my whole career. And I miss it. I miss performing, and I miss my peers and my chosen family. There she go. She be like, oh, it's not about me.
Mahogany.
Turn up.
Hey,
But
so
yeah, I've been coping with that by just staying in touch with everybody and doing stuff like this. We here.
yeah, I'm thankful for y'all, by the way. So you know what, real quick, shout out to y'all. I love y'all, and I'm glad that even if we're not around each other like how we normally are during the year, we're able to do this. So I salute. I love y'all tremendously. Moses.
Yeah.
All right, Moses, you definitely been busy, bro. With everything going on. But how have everything been going on with you during the pandemic?
I'm learning how to use this internet a little bit more. I got a computer now, so I'm in the game. I'm catching up with the times.
Nice. I love it.
That's nice.
I love it, man. So I guess like what we normally do is we ask questions about our feature. So let's talk to you for a bit, Shadow, and get to know who Shadow is. So Shadow, tell the audience where you from, man.
Man, I'm from a lot of different places, but the main place I'm from is I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. That's who made me. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to high school. So in 1992, my family, which is a mixed culture family. My mom is an American. My dad is a Nigerian. So I'm a Nigerian American, a real African American, if you will. So in '92, we moved here from Nigeria, and been kind of like doing my thing ever since. So that's really the origins of where I come from and who I am. But I also like to shout out my mom's hometown, which is also my hometown, which is Havana, Florida, which is right outside of Tallahassee, Florida.
All right, nice. So this will be my last question before we pass it over to either Ebony or Moses. So my question would be, just like with all people that come and perform with the arts, because you do a lot. You've done poetry, got a member of Black on Black Rhyme, Back Talk. So, what I'm saying? I love it. And so the biggest thing I want to ask you is, even with all the stuff you've done with the arts, what got you involved with the arts to begin with?
Man, that's a great question. I would say the genesis of that was probably my mom. So my mom has been an educator my whole life, 40 years plus. I'm not gonna give y'all the exact number, but so she was my first art teacher, and she really pushed me through the fine arts process. So I started off kind of like being a sketch artist, but then she just always exposed me to different types of art. So I fell in love with music. I fell in love with poetry. I fell in love with a lot of different types of arts. And even when I felt like my interpretation of a particular art form wasn't the best or up to my standard, my mom was always right there, just like pushing me through, like, "Oh yeah, but that stick figure looks great." I'm like, yeah, I hate it, but she always confidence. So I think that once it's always been part of my life, but once I got to college, went to school at FAMU, I met a great artist and poet by the name of Keith Rogers, and he really just kind of pushed me in that direction of really taking my creativity to the next level. So that's not involved in the poetry side of arts, but as far as arts in general, my mom was always the driving force.
Nice. I'm gonna pass it to Eb real quick to get some questions in.
When did you know you were a nerd? When did you
Look,
find out?
when did I find out I was a nerd? Man, that's a great question. So, man, when I was growing up in Nigeria, I had this friend. His name was Busola Awojobi, and he had an older brother who had a Commodore 64. And so we're talking like 1980 something, and I was just always fascinated, just by the fact that that they had a computer in my circle. Somebody had an actual computer, but then they used it for video games, and obviously that was just like really crazy. And I couldn't wait to go over to their house. Would spend weekends there, and that's when I knew, like, yo, this is the kind of thing I like, and I think about, and I read about, and I want more information on, and it just kind of consumed, the early teenage years. So that probably was like the first time I was like, I'm nerding out over something really right now.
That's dope. That's dope.
Nice.
Okay. So with that being said, what is something about your personality that at times separates you from the nerds in your circle of influence? Can you hear me? I know Mahogany Rose is yelling at me in the background.
Ooh. What is it about my personality that separates me from other nerds in my circle?
Yeah, that
Ooh,
distinguishes
I
you.
can't
Because
say
that's
that there really is. Oh, you mean like what type of nerd am I? Oh, okay, I got that one.
yeah. What's your unique eccentricity?
My unique eccentricity. So I love like '90s black '90s music, R&B, neo soul. That's my era. That's when I was coming up of age. I love Eddie Murphy movies. Denzel's my favorite actor. So all those movies that they came out with in that era, I just that's just stuff that I love and I watch all the time. So my wife is always like, that song, the lyrics of that other song, that other song. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's those are the songs I played on repeat when I was 17, 18, 19 years old.
Word.
So yeah, that's probably the one thing I would say. Like, I go nerdy over.
Hey, so we're gonna pass it to Moses to get a couple of questions in, and then I think we'll ask one more question before we actually get into our panel. So I'm gonna pass it over to the Poetry Ninja to see if he got any questions for you.
Okay.
Hey,
Can y'all hear me?
I
Y'all
can't
hear me
wait.
pretty good?
Yeah, we can hear you freezing up a little
Okay.
bit,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
can hear
okay.
you.
So being that, like, okay, I'm gonna log in and log back out.
You look like you frozen.
I think you said you're gonna log in and log back out real quick. You still there, Mo? Okay, so he probably logged
I
out.
see him. I see his face.
Yeah, he logged out. We're gonna bring him back in. Probably just trying to get a good signal. So I guess I will ask another question. So, all right. So I read something about you saying that, and for instance, I will go ahead and sit here and say, just being around you, I've seen all this experience kick in. But I read something that you've hosted or helped be a part of over 100 different poetry events and festivals. So my question to that, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of us have planned events, but you've done it to an extreme that I don't think a lot of us could even jump in on, would be how do you balance planning an event and handle all the stressors that come pre-event, during the event, and after the event?
Okay, so you say I got the first part, the second part of the question. But the first part was, what is it about planning an event?
Yeah, like what
Can
is
you
it
say the
about
question
planning
again?
an event that is, I guess, so when you plan an event, how do you handle the balance of the stressors pre-event, during the event, and maybe after the event?
Ooh, yeah, every event can be a little bit different and come with its own special set of challenges. I don't like to call things issues. It's just something that we got to figure out solutions for. So, mostly take that type of approach, which is just like, hey, this is an event. We're planning an event, and it's going to come with a certain set of challenges. So it's just like, how do we best solve those challenges? But specifically, I guess the pre-event, a lot of that is, you know, making sure that you have a plan, right? Like that's the key to any successful event is you got to go into it with some idea of how you want it to go, what you want it to look like, and what you think the end result should be. You might not always end up in those places, but it just helps, kind of like a GPS map. It's just like, okay, this is kind of like the direction I need to take. Now, if along the way you need to take detours, then that's allowable as well. But I think that having a plan is probably your first thing pre-event that you want to make sure that you have covered.
A
During
plan.
the event,
I'm an artist. I
a
don't need a
plan,
plan.
a plan, a
Plan. What's
PLAN.
that?
Piss poor
Sounds like something I
planning
wipe my ass with.
leads to for real. I
It's
mean,
all.
no, I mean all jokes aside, if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. It really is at the end of the day because you have nothing to measure about against if you were successful or not. Um, Now, when you get into the event, I think that I learned this kind of like the hard way. A lot of times when you're doing an event, because you have the vision or maybe it's your idea and you're working with somebody else, it's really hard to let go of certain things, right? It's like you want to be the photographer, you want to be the web person, you want to be the person that does the graphics, you want to be the person that sets up the venue, you want to be the bouncer, you want to take the cash at the door, you want to check people in, and it's like, no, you got to stop and you got to figure out how to delegate, um, and figure out who's good at what and what jobs need to be done, what are the higher priority jobs, which things can you let go of, and which things are you absolutely not going to compromise on. And I think that once you identify those things and you know who those people are, then it makes things a little bit easier while you're actually in the process of having the event, because then you can check in with people and make sure that things are going the way that you expect them to. If you try to do everything, eventually one thing is going to slip, and that one thing could be like the highest priority item, and your whole event is just completely destroyed because of that one thing. So you want to make sure that you have proper people around you, good support system, and people who are willing to do the work, but also kind of share the same kind of passion and the vision that you have for that event. And then post event, man, is really just about self care. You want to have some kind of metrics in place that you can measure and say, okay, yeah, we did well or we didn't do well based on these, 1 through 5 things. But then I think that after the event, if you put the type of energy and effort into it that's necessary, then I think that post event you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, and you need to really put some time and some gap between the end of the event and when you try to do something else, whether it's go back to work or do another event or that kind of thing. Because if you don't put that just kind of like rest period at the end, then you'll end up, just kind of burning out because you didn't give yourself time to reflect. So those are more specific answers to your question, but
Oh no,
that's really how I look at it.
I loved all the answers you gave me. I appreciate it tremendously. I'm gonna pass it to you, Ev, to get one more question in, and hopefully Moses get back. If not, then we'll go ahead and get into the fun part of this wonderful event. So, Ev is back on you. Get the last word.
Okay, so when it comes to diversity, inclusion, and representation, in the course of like just in that same vein of film, and because when you bring up the Eddie Murphy films, I got excited because the things that he was making movies about. Then a lot of in the 90s, a lot of people, I don't really think give him his flowers as far as the risk that he took and
Right.
the diversity, representation, and inclusion, right? And even in poetry and events, like the things that make that all, go together. Like, how do you? Because I know your events are always like that. How do you ensure that? How do you guarantee that? Because I know he had the distinguished gentleman, he had Boomerang, he had all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Coming to America, Beverly Hills Cop, all those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's important. I came from a very diverse background, just culturally where I'm from. But then just growing up in a family that had strong female presence. Growing up in a family, my dad was actually he got a scholarship from Nigeria to be educated in the
Hey.
United States, and he stayed with a white family. So there's a lot. There've been in my history a lot of different relationships. Hey, Mo made it. He made it. He made it. One way or the other, he's gonna make it. I love it. I love Mo's tenacity.
I know. He's like.
I love
You gotta make
Mo's
it happen one way
tenacity,
or the other,
bro.
you know?
That is awesome.
Hey, I
That is
love that, and that's got success written all over it. If you're willing to do just something slightly different to make this shit happen, so I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, I think that as far as like poetry events and at the core of what we're doing poetry wise is we're giving people a chance to have their voices heard, right? And so I think that that is something that everybody should have the opportunity to do. If you can speak, if you can shout, if you can sing, then we want to hear from you. We want to hear about your experiences. We want to hear about what makes your life unique. And that's not limited to any group of people, any type of people, any race of people. So I always try to look for things that bring a unique slant to an event, whether it's just a different voice, a different type of perspective. And I think that that's part of just the underlying credo of what I try to do.
So since we got Mo back, I'm gonna let Mo get answering this question before he went out on us. So Mo, you can go ahead and get your question off real quick.
I was
For
saying,
sure.
I want to know, how do you define the term nerd? Because when people think shadow, they just don't think typically. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I wonder
Like,
about that. Like, why is that though? Like, I mean,
Cause you
is it because I don't
cool.
share enough of my nerdness?
well, I think
I don't
nerds,
know. It's a good question.
I think nerds are traditionally uncool. We just naturally not cool. Like LJ, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm not cool
He,
at all. There's
he
nothing cool
fits the
about me.
mold. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a Mo. There's nothing cool about me. Nothing. I know. I do know who the Mandarin is, though. I do know he ain't.
See, I don't know what that is.
We don't know. We don't know yet.
Oh man.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
As
I'll
far
let
as
you
a nerd
answer on that,
defining,
Shadow.
I think everybody's a nerd in their way, right? I think that a stigma has been placed on the word nerd, but I think that if you're moving through this life, right, there are certain things that are always in your life. And when you look back, you're like, damn, I was always into this thing. I was always into that thing. Now, how you live your life might not reflect that necessarily, but it doesn't mean that you didn't nerd out about something, that you fell in love with when you were a kid and you grew up. So I think that this can be cool. I think all of y'all are cool. I think y'all have inspired me in a lot of different ways to make me want to be more like y'all. But I don't think that the nerd in particular has to be like this uncool weirdo in the back of the class. I think that it encompasses a lot of different types of people without the stigma.
I love what you said about that. I also like the fact that even with now, and I know then we're gonna go ahead and get into this thing. The fact that like even now when people talk about the term nerd, now they're at first like when Moses was saying it was associated with the thing of you being uncool, but now when you hear people talk about nerd, it's like if you're a nerd, it has to be tied to either A, B, or C. There's no in between, and I don't like how people try to redefine certain things. So I think the answer you gave is spot on, and I'm thankful for it. I'm glad that was a good damn question, Moses. Like I appreciate that.
That was a good question.
I appreciate that. That was nice.
I ain't feel like it was a good question because Shadow ain't say, "Wow, that's a good question" before you answered it.
Wow, Moses, that really was a good question, though.
It was too wild. It was a good. You said, "Wow, that's a good question for any question," and you said, "Wow, that's a good question for every question." I felt left out.
All right, my bad. I need to moderate my wows.
That's all right. I'll take it at the end. It's all good.
All right, cool. So, what we're about to do, because I know Ebony is trying to find a good place in where she at to try not to do an echo or nothing. Or they? Oh, okay, never mind. We good. All right, I think we're good. Make sure.
You can see both chairs like that. Gotcha. You can see it both. Bill.
Yeah. Scoot over just a little bit. I see Moses like all the way.
There you
go. Right there. Don't move. Right there. You got it. All right. So for everybody that's watching Ninja Nerd and Nubian, as y'all know, we talk about a whole bunch of nerd things. We talk about a lot of special nerd things. But this particular night, and I am thankful that we got this idea from the lovely. We will be talking about. So I added one little particular thing in, but that's just me. So we're going to be talking about movies. We're also going to be talking about 90s R&B. But I went ahead and also said 90s and early 2000s R&B and hip hop in the likelihood that
you didn't tell me that.
No, so we're gonna rock out. We're gonna have fun. And what I'm going to do, because it's only right, we're gonna let Ebony Payne ask the first question to the collective panel, and then we're going to talk amongst ourselves about it. So if you, the audience, are watching, feel free to comment. Feel free to let us know your thoughts on some of these questions, and we will post them up on the screen while we're sitting here shooting the breeze as fam. So Ebony, it's on you.
All right. So, best 90s stand-up comedy.
God.
Best 90s stand-up comedy.
I gotta use my phone. Gotta see if this was like in the 90s or not. Yeah, give me a second.
Is it gonna be between Richard Pryor? Did he have a show in the 90s? Eddie Murphy. I'm just recollecting. George Carlin.
Yes, George Carlin's a good one.
And who else would have had a comedy in the 90s?
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, like I'm trying to look up the year because like I got a person in my mind. I'm trying to make sure it was in the 90s when it came out.
Comedies in the 90s.
Comedies in the 90s, stand up. Sinbad, Brain Damage was really awesome.
Yes.
Sinbad. Okay.
Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker. It's one of my favorites from that era.
Oh, that was in the 90s?
It was
Bigger and
1999.
Blacker?
Yeah.
Ooh.
But Sinbad, Brain Damage he did that on Morehouse campus. So that was lit.
Oh.
Did Run Tell That come out in the 90s?
Yeah. No, actually, it came out in 2002.
No, You So Crazy.
So Crazy.
I got one. Jamie Foxx. Did Jamie Foxx have one? I bet you if he had one in the 90s.
I might need security.
I might need security.
Where he was singing and he played the piano. That's it. That's my final answer. That's what I'm going with. I remember that.
That's funny. You So Crazy was hilarious. I liked you.
It was. But he ain't played the piano.
Nah, he ain't played the piano. Speaking of which, T.I. played the piano while rapping. And that the 90s that happened in the 90s? I'm getting to the age where I don't know if it had been in the 90s.
I don't think
T.I. came out about 2000.
So I don't think this one came out in the 90s, but yeah, I don't think this came out in the 90s, but one of our good folks, Lady Blue, put up Kings of Comedy. I think that came out early 2000s, maybe, but it's still
like 2000s.
They got 90 comedians in it though.
It did.
Chris Rock, Bring the Pain was a big one. Bring the Pain. That was a big one.
So okay, so then what about
Haymaker question? Abby, I'm thinking like where all the ones I looked at in the early 90s. I had to like think about it.
Yeah. 90s, listen. We was kids in the 90s, man. My mom wouldn't let me listen to that stuff.
I wasn't allowed to listen to it either, but my dad really enjoyed stand-up comedy, so I would just find a reason to be in his room. It was really.
All right, so I'm gonna pose this next question. Y'all want movie or R&B question? You pick Shadow since you the host, since you the special guest. You want an R&B question?
I'm gonna go with R&B.
All right. So early like 90s R&B. Which R&B group do you wish had a longer lifespan?
Ooh, man.
Why y'all thinking about that? Lady Blue says she went to Kings of Comedy in 1997.
She said she was pregnant. That's all you sis. That's all you.
Okay. We'll take a word for it. Shout out to Lady Blue.
Well, that one wins. Actually, that one wins.
All right. So I got one for y'all. You'll probably would not expect this one. But I forget their name right now.
What they saying?
If you let me come.
Intro.
Intro. Thank you, bro. Their lead singer ended up dying.
Yeah.
But they had like a fire ass album.
Yes. The first album had Love Thing, had Come Inside.
Yes.
Had Ribbon in the Sky. The Ribbon in the Sky.
Yes.
One. Yeah. I had that album. I have that album.
They play that album on repeat.
Oh man. I would say because it's so many you could think of depending on how you view like who had a dope album or dope songs. I would say Jade.
Okay.
Who's Jade?
Jade.
Wow.
So it was a female.
Don't let me walk away, Jade.
Don't walk away.
Jade. Jade. Okay. Jade.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish High Five We're still making music.
High five.
I loved High Five.
High Five had a lot of hits, though. It wasn't like their career was real short, you know?
Their career was short, but they just made a lot of music in the short time that they was out.
They should do like you know how they do like the Temptations movie?
Yes.
They should totally do High Five.
Yeah. They would have a good movie.
They would do drugs.
They had hired killers on their damn group. No. They had killers on their group.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Man.
Because I'm just saying it'll make a good story as long as they don't do it on beat.
One of the
what was that lead singer's name?
Tony
Thompson.
Tony Thompson.
Something like that.
Tony Thompson.
Yeah.
Because he had his own. Remember, he had I want to
love like that.
Yeah. He had his own hit. He had his own solo hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know who my pick is gonna be? This was a good album and people slept on it. Sons of Funk.
Yes.
Yeah,
they signed with No Limit. Yeah, they signed with No Limit, and they came out with the Pushing Inside track.
Sons of Funk had
what was the song?
Actually sing. You're right. I think it was just that they was on the rap label and they kind of slept on it. But them boys had a solid album.
They just came out in the era of gangster rap. It wasn't a good time.
So somebody posted up, and I agree with them on this one. Somebody posted.
Brownstone was ill. Yeah.
They was like 73 when they came out.
If we're gonna say Brownstone, then you might as well say Janae.
Yeah. Yes,
that was around the same kind of era.
Yeah, definitely. Janae came out with I think 1 or 2 albums, and then they stopped.
Brownstone was 42 when they came out, so they couldn't really have no long career. They was, you know what I'm saying, already.
Are you serious about that, Mo?
So Jagged Edge is actually still out doing stuff, but Total, I would agree with. I wish Total would still be around. I love Total.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were more accepting of queer films in the 90s, maybe they would be.
She in the church. She doing gospel.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm saying, when they were out, when they was making music,
that's not true.
It is true.
Total had one of the biggest albums ever.
They talked about the discrimination that they encountered.
That's because they flopped.
What?
They didn't flop.
They did 3 albums. They was good. What are you talking about?
You know Puff Daddy can't make no second albums.
Puff Daddy probably dropped
was on Bad Boy.
Because when they did the tracks with Timbaland, he probably wasn't feeling it.
Name anybody with Puffy who had 2 good albums.
Mary J. Blige.
Biggie.
She was not with Puffy.
Yes, she was.
She was not with Puffy.
Yes,
she was not on Bad Boy. How about that? Let's go with that.
Okay.
Puffy is who discovered Mary J. Blige
and gave her the heavy D Andre Harrell.
And
he didn't work with her.
Hey, somebody said all for one.
More than 2.
I mean, he put his name on everything, but she wasn't on his label.
Faith Evans.
She ain't had 2 good albums.
Yes, she did.
She had 1.
She had multiple.
Carl Thomas.
He left.
His second album didn't do that good.
Yeah, after 2 albums.
Didn't do that good.
He left.
Notorious B.I.G.
112.
He was dead when the second one came.
112.
He had already recorded.
112.
Yeah.
Lil' Kim.
Lil' Kim
never signed with Bad
Boy. On Bad Boy.
She was on Bad Boy. She was the first lady of Bad Boy.
She was with Undias.
Yeah, she was on Bad Boy.
It was Bad Boy because of Biggie.
Lil' Kim.
I didn't know
Junior Mafia was on Bad Boy.
And she was in Junior Mafia.
Yeah, but Lil' Kim is
Junior Mafia was signed to Undias.
Junior Mafia ain't have 2 good albums.
Bad Boy.
Hey, I got one. Making the Band.
No.
Which one?
No.
The actual The Band or Old Town or Day 26?
Vanity Kane.
The one album wasn't even good.
Vanity Kane, hell no.
I just want to say I named multiple artists that had more than 1 album with Bad Boy.
Bad Boy.
Lil' Kim was a Bad Boy artist. Y'all get how many times she's the first lady of Bad Boy?
She was not on Bad Boy.
She was not. No, she was.
She was not on Bad Boy. She was on Bad Boy in the group. As a part of the group,
she was a part of Junior Mafia.
But
she was
her as a solo artist was not on Bad.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna pass the next question to either Moses or Shadow because I got a list of questions, but I'm trying to not go through all mine because I can't prepare for today. So Moses, you can pose a question, or Shadow, you can pose a question.
Sure. I'll let Moses go.
So more powerful career. Andre 3000, CeeLo Green.
Andre 3000.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm gonna go ahead. I got my answer too. Go ahead.
Because without Andre 3000, there is no CeeLo Green.
You know they came around the same time. He didn't.
Not really.
They was all Dungeon family together.
Yes, correct.
Who influenced?
Correct.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shadow.
Outkast paved the way for CeeLo Green.
Cass album came out first. So if you want to go there.
Yes, and in the minds of regular people, right? That's the profession, right? It's like Outkast came out, and oh shit, you got, not only do you just have CeeLo, you have Goody Mob coming right behind them, but without the setting the tone with get up, get out, and get something, right? Which is that's an Outkast.
When CeeLo was on that song though.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. But he was on the album. It wasn't like, oh, CeeLo had an album out, Outkast had an album out, and they did a collaboration. It was like Outkast had an album and CeeLo was featured on it.
Right.
That's the only difference.
So it wasn't like he was Andre was his peer, not his mentor. Yeah. It wasn't his mentor.
Yeah, in their work in their industry, yes. But from the person consuming the content, no. It was like, no, Outkast was already out. I already loved Outkast. And then I heard CeeLo on a track with Outkast. And so to me, that just puts them just a little bit more than CeeLo.
Okay, what you say, LJ?
I would say Andre 3000. Only because so here's gonna be the caveat to it because I gotta look at both Goody Mob and I gotta look at both Outkast. So Outkast came out, Andre 3000, Big Boy, both of them cohesively together, they rock. Separately, depending on how you look at certain stuff, Andre 3000 can do his own solo album. Big Boy can do his own solo album. Big Boy has done a lot of solo albums, but Andre can hold his own doing a solo album if he wanted to, and everybody will still go to it and listen. But here's my thing to Goody Mob, though, and when it comes to CeeLo Green. When it comes to CeeLo Green was with Goody Mob. CeeLo Green did indie albums, but they didn't have as much impact. And a lot of the stuff that actually did get like a lot of work as far as impactful, it had to be with a group or with somebody else because he had to do Goody Mob stuff was doing good. When he did his solo albums, they were okay. When he did Gnarls Barkley, the albums were doing good. When he went back to going solo, they did okay. So now he's back doing stuff with Goody Mob. So I guess if you look at like who can hold their own a little bit more, I would say 3000 a little bit more. But then at the same time, we wouldn't know because he hasn't done a solo album yet, except for the Love Below. So
that wasn't a solo album.
He's never done a solo album. No, you can't say. No, you can't say.
No.
He didn't have as much impact when Andre had zero impact.
So if you ask both of them right now, even though it's considered Outkast a double album, Speaker Box, The Love Below, you listen to all those albums back to back. You're telling me even though it's considered an Outkast album, those aren't solo albums.
Those are not solo albums.
Because they're featuring on them, or they're not considering all the work they're doing themselves. I'm asking because
they put the project together as a group, and they released it as a group.
So
Andre wanted to explore different types of music, and Big Boy aided him in that journey. And Dre aided him in his journey into Speaker Box, like in a group. This is what I've learned after the heartbreak I experienced. Okay, finding out that all right, if they're in a group, you cannot claim it as your own because they're in a group.
So no, here's my caveat to what you said. Then, so and you can look back at this. How do you, if you say that album, then remember when Little John had his own record label and he came out with Trillville and Little Scrappy?
Yeah.
That was both. Those were both as considered double albums, but they considered them as indie albums both together. So how do you do the caveat with that? And you can't do that with Outkast.
Well, Lil Jon wasn't in those groups. Lil Jon was in the East Side.
No, I didn't say no. There wasn't Little John albums. The album was Trillville, Little Scrappy. They were both considered to be a double album, but both of the albums, both of the discs, were all either Little Scrappy tracks or Trillville tracks. But it was considered a double album. So how can you do that with that, but you can't do that with Outkast?
You don't do that with that. Trillville was never a successful group. They needed Scrappy to.
They weren't.
Yeah, they needed Scrappy to get some sales.
Right? So don't count as successful. That's what you saying?
Trillville?
No. I'm talking about the album concept. That's what I'm bringing up.
Moses' face is hilarious.
He realized neither of these people were stars, so he put them together in order to make one album.
That's true, D-Rod.
He knew he couldn't sell them individually, so if I packaged them together.
I mean, Blackapella was a brilliant album, and it was solo, if I must say so myself.
And plus, the Lady Killer was an excellent. And you talking about
Lady Killer was.
And CeeLo has had way more solo success than Andre.
Yes, he has.
Because Andre has no solo success. Look how big
he does some fire features.
But look how big FU is.
Not like he didn't try for it.
FU is bigger than.
I see you driving around town with the girl
that's a big song. Maybe I'm crazy. It's a big song.
No. You're right. I'm being devil's advocate. That's all I'm doing. I'm being devil's advocate. That's all I'm doing. I'm sorry, Moses. I still love you. I was just being devil's advocate.
Are you saying are you saying who's had? Is the question who's had more influence, or is the question who's had more success?
Who's had a more powerful career was my question.
Or who has had a more powerful career?
Andre 3000 has had more powerful.
That's why Andre 2000 still.
Without a doubt, it's CeeLo.
Andre 3000 has
counting
had the
record sales.
most powerful career.
Talking about
one of the
different
most powerful
albums.
careers in hip hop.
I think Andre is more critically acclaimed, but
I think
there are more people I know that say their favorite rapper is Andre 3000 than those that say their favorite rapper is CeeLo.
But then if we're going to judge it by rap, then we can't use The Love Below. The Love Below wasn't even rap. That wasn't a rap album at all.
I mean, most of the albums they're talking about are not The Love Below. Most of the stuff that they reference are from something playlistic or from
or feature tracks. Okay, so I would say this. I would say CeeLo could have been on a verge of being a more impactful artist had he not made the comment he made years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's what set him back when stupid came out his mouth, and then it kind of like shut everything down.
In fact, he be slipping Mickeys in women's drinks. There's that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When then we said it can't be considered rape if she sleeps or something like that. When he said that statement, so yeah, so like I quit listening to it after that, so I didn't care much for it.
Yeah, but everybody, I don't know. It seemed like Rick Ross has only got more success. But I digress.
All right, Shadow, it's on you. It's on you, Shadow.
Okay. So I got a question. What happened to Neo Soul?
Well, Hidden Beach folded. A lot of Neo Soul artists were signed to the record label called Hidden Beach. Music Soul Child was signed to Hidden Beach. Kendrick was signed to Hidden Beach. Yeah. I think at one point in time, if I'm not mistaken, Jill Scott was affiliated.
They had a lot of people. They had
the Neo Soul roster.
Yeah, they had people that was even dope that never came out. They had a group called Aries. If you don't know who Aries was, they were the two twins.
They featured on the Music Soul Child album.
Carol Riddick was one of them, and a couple of other people. But I think, to be honest with you, I think what ended up happening, it's almost, and I hate to say, I think the machine is what made Neo Soul kind of like out a lot more like than what it is. And the machine is basically like when industry sees something good, they try to jump on it real quick and they oversaturate it a lot. Because you had so many people come out during that neo soul time. Even when like D'Angelo came out and then Erykah Badu, you had Kenny Lattimore. You had Kenny Lattimore, and I encourage anybody if they listening, if you watch Unsung, look at Kenny Lattimore's Unsung because he talks about when he was signed to Columbia Records and he was supposed to be like the next best thing for neo soul for that label. But then they started Maxwell around the time they was about to push him, so they started pushing Maxwell more than him, and it really became
smart.
Huh?
I was just thinking about Black Summer's Night and how brilliant it was.
But yeah, but like
nothing could go up against that.
Right. Nothing at all. But I like early Kenny Lattimore stuff. I love this movie, but like that first album, like when some cops come knocking with Maxwell and something, and the remix of something, you wasn't messing with that. I just think the industry kind of like, I think the industry took it. They love what was going on with it, and then probably when people were getting to like their second or third album, like it tries to change you to do something else. Like India.Arie came out with I think her fourth album at one point, and they like changed her whole look up. She did a video with a shiny shirt and a shiny guitar playing. I was like, this don't even seem like India.Arie.
The Brat did that. They did that to the Brat too.
Yeah, that's nice. So like the machine.
She had Tyrese in the video. I was like, you don't like him.
Yeah.
You don't like him.
But this what I think
what do
about
you like? Whole lot of foreplay right before you get
I think neo soul is probably the smartest genre of black music because I think they're taking it back to them being their own masters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the industry not giving it a lot of radio play and stuff like that, you still got a lot of thriving neo soul. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they just keeping it underground. They just not all over the airwaves like the other people are. But they out here getting money. Like, you know what I'm saying? You see them Eric Roberson concerts and all that be selling out.
I went to one.
Yeah.
Me too.
And it's off the chain. You know what I'm saying? People, Anthony Hamilton and all them guys, man, they throw some dope.
Oh, and they be dope shows too, just like all the way lit. With neo soul, like it just, I feel like certain things that are defunded. That's when you speak of the machine. That's where my head went to. Was like, can I get a distribution budget? Because Hidden Beach was an indie label, but they still had distribution with a major. And so if they cut the distribution funding, then that's less artists that they have the ability to play. Because it's room for everyone. It's not that the market was oversaturated because it's a bunch of bullshit on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
That's top 15. You know what I'm saying? Back. But it was the defunding of it. That, you know what I'm saying? Did I just catch you trying to be shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, give me that check. You know what I'm saying?
Come here.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some mega hits, right? During that time, at least the golden era.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way we call the golden era.
So that's why there's no excuse for those labels to not have been backed. You feel me? It's because these artists were wildly successful. And Erykah Badu is still one of the most successful femme artists of all time, you know? And it's like that. I just think that there are certain things that market was also heavily influenced by Black women. Yeah. And there are just certain things that the industry does not put a lot of funding into. So
I'm gonna put back up something. One of our viewers said Anthony Hamilton sound like he's making his own music. Like everything sounds the same to me.
Man, don't hate.
The reason I want to comment on that. The reason I want to comment on that, it reminds me of something that Music Soul Child had said, and I remember when I saw an interview with Donnell Jones when Donnell Jones came out with Where I Want to Be album when he came out with that. Like just like we were saying with Neo Soul, I think sometimes the artists do want to do a different, like do something different with their next album, but depending on who you're signed to, they almost want you to do an album that's similar to the last one you did because they think it's going to keep hits and revenue. Correct. So and that's for most people. But some people don't grow out of what they comfortable with. Like I always love everybody.
Can I tell you an example? What I feel like is an example of that is remember when Usher came out with Confessions?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the name of the album that he came out with after that?
Ooh.
I don't know, but it was trash. That was that one with
wasn't Here I Stand, I think?
mountains
What's
and all that
What's the
trash.
name of the album though?
I think
What's
it
the
was Here
name
I
of it?
Stand, I think.
Raymond
I think it was
versus
Here I
Raymond.
Stand.
Raymond versus
Was it Raymond
Raymond.
versus Raymond?
Was it Raymond versus Raymond? I thought it was Here I Stand. I didn't know.
Oh, maybe it was Here I Stand.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't
Like,
know.
Here I
I don't
Stand
know.
was
We
trash.
wanted him to make Confessions Part 2,
I don't know.
Confessions Part 3,
look, my whole
Part 5.
Usher
I want him to
catalog
keep
went-
going. I'm like,
My whole-
what are you doing? Usher, what are you doing? You fucking it.
He's been delivered.
My whole
You had
don't cheat no more.
a good thing going.
my Usher catalog with My Way, 8701, and then Confessions. That's them the 3 albums.
Right. And then after that, it was,
Man. All right.
it sounds cool, Usher. Yeah.
So, I'm gonna take it to a movie question. So is that cool with everybody? We take it to a movie question.
Yeah.
All right, so this is gonna be a good one. Like I already have mine in my head. I'm gonna let somebody answer first before I answer. So movie. What movie do you feel the main character made bad decisions throughout the whole movie?
Purple Rain.
Movie?
You said Purple Rain?
Purple Rain.
Go ahead. Go into it. Tell us why.
Like, okay, first of all, he was like a failed musician who ain't wanna get out of his own head. Like he thought he was great. He wouldn't listen to nobody. You know what I'm saying? He was hard-headed and he watched his daddy do the exact same thing. So it seemed like he would learn from your mistakes, but he emulated a lot of the horrible decisions that his dad made. Like he was beating on women and you know what I'm saying? And riding around thinking he all that when like Purple Rain was the best song in the song, but that's what the group members wrote. Remember? The group members came up with the song. So when he finally did listen to them, because his old girl was around there smashing Morris Day them, you know what I'm saying? He had to lose him, but he lost in the end. Like he really didn't get the girl. He really didn't become successful with his own music. He was about to get fired. You know
Purple Rain came out in '84.
Oh, boo.
I just said a movie. I didn't put a year. I didn't put a year. I said a movie. I just said a movie.
Ebony killed the vibe. Why you kill the vibe? I was feeling that.
I was born the year it came out.
But you can beat on women in the movies in '84. You know what I'm saying? And still be the
all right, how about Boomerang? How about
his name
Boomerang?
from Boys in the Hood? Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character.
What you say, Shadow?
I said, how about Boomerang?
Ooh, Boomerang.
Oh, Marcus made horrible decisions. The whole movie. Terrible. The worst.
Just terrible. The whole movie.
Oh, but
all
question
the way
about
to the
Boomerang.
end.
So which was your favorite one? Strange, Jacqueline, or what's her name? Halle Berry's character. What was her name?
I can't remember.
I forget.
Lady Eloise was the best character.
Lady Eloise. There we go.
There we go,
Mo.
I love Boomerang is because all the women were boss ladies. Like all those that company was ran by black women.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was so dope. It was lit. I loved it.
And a gay guy.
And a gay guy. Listen, I love that movie. Strange is my favorite. Like I'm Strange. That's who I see when
I did love Strange. She was so. Oh yeah, David Alan Grier did also make some terrible decisions.
The worst.
Angela.
That was her name.
Angela. Yeah, Angela.
Angela. He ended up with the girl we can't even remember her name, and that's who the main character ended up with at the end of the movie. That's but
you said I thought I heard you say Boys. Hey Ebony, I thought I heard
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character from Boys in the Hood.
Yes, go for it.
Trey,
oh yeah,
Trey.
Yeah.
Trey made the worst decisions all the time, and even when he got a chance to make a better decision, he just made it worse.
He fucked it up.
I'm gonna say, look,
Trey wasn't like bad as Dope Boy.
Dope Boy made excellent decisions.
So,
Doughboy
got his brother killed.
Doughboy did not get his brother killed. His brother got his brother killed. He told Ricky not to be going down there, and Ricky wanted to prove that he wasn't scared.
Yeah, but Doughboy the one pulled the pistol on him.
It doesn't matter. Ricky shouldn't have been down there. He knew better. He knew he was green. He knew he was green.
Okay.
Can't be responsible. You can't be
This is what we
responsible.
do, but I'm gonna let her have it on camera because I don't want to like a bullet.
I am going to say Kane from Menace to Society.
He was such a shit show, wasn't he?
So
oh my God,
he was a shit show.
Not counting the no, I'm sorry. I can bring
the VHS.
No.
The fucking VHS. The fucking shooting the lady.
Yeah, he didn't de-escalate O-Dog from arguing with the damn people at the damn store. I'm gonna be missing some stuff. The fact when old girl told him that
she was pregnant, and he was like, "It ain't."
He was like, "Why you telling me for it? It wasn't me. I had my Jimmy on extra tight."
He stomped out homeboy on his grandparents' lawn.
Yep, that old boy's grandparents' lawn. Then
driving. No, he was hot.
Then when old boy started messing with Jada Pickett, instead of like, "Hey yo, chill out, bro, chill out," he got mad and pistol beat him. Then the VHS tape went to the police and the feds.
Exactly.
And like all caught up with him, and then when he tried to run, it was too late. So like every decision he made,
every bad decision came back to kill him in the end. It ain't that how life works.
The thing was,
Tupac said it changes.
Yeah, and the thing was, there was so many points in that movie where people was giving him less, like, you need to leave, you need to do better, you need to do better.
Right.
And he kept turning away until it was too late.
Trying to get him out of there.
So nobody gonna mention the fact that he let the little jit hold his gun.
Yeah, that too. That's what I do. I'm gonna miss it. Like I said, the one redeeming fact that happened was when everything happened, he at least tried to save the boy from getting shot. But every decision he made, all of that.
So my thing was, it was redeeming as well that it wasn't loaded. And he was like, "It's not loaded." You know what I'm saying? As soon as she
not that part. I'm talking the part at the end. The part at the end when
I know when he pulled him off his big wheel. Yeah.
But still, it's not loaded. It's not. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean.
All right. So, y'all, anybody got another question? I got tons of them. I got tons. You got another question, Ed? What you got?
Man, okay. 90s R&B.
Hold up real quick. Shadow, you doing good, man? You enjoying yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm loving this.
Yeah, look like the audience enjoying itself as well. So,
how many people on?
I don't know because I got to spread out through different channels. Right now, I see like maybe 10 on Facebook, but then I got it on 3 other channels. I got it on YouTube, and I don't know who's all watching on YouTube. So,
who had the best body rolls? Because 90s R&B was big on body rolls. The body rolls.
Body rolls?
Who had the best body rolls?
Who had the best body? You know who had one of the best body rolls? Left Eye from TLC.
She did.
No, man. Y'all gotta remember when H-Town came out with this, and they doing the rocket slow with the punch.
You gotta have them like this too. 3, it can't be 1. It gotta be like the right.
You gotta be like right there. You gotta be like the right.
That's Shaba right there.
You gotta turn to the side. You can't do it before you gotta turn to the side and
okay.
That's Mr. Lover.
See the roll with it. So
no, Mr. Lover Man, that's what it was. When he had with the shades on.
Shaba. Kick it with me. What's up, Monica?
Oh man.
Monica, who had the best body rolls?
Hey, Monica, you gotta type down who got the best body roll. I'm kicking it. Oh man. Somebody said left eye.
You got to maintain eye contact with the camera too.
Left eye had good body rolls. She had the.
Oh man. That was a good question. That was a good question. I had it like, God.
That was a good question. I like that one.
All right, so let's stick to music. Out of all the 90 songs y'all know. Oh, hold up real quick. Monica said, hold up. Shabba. Play this simple. All right, so out of all the 90 songs y'all know, What's 90s song do you think has aged well over the years?
Ooh.
I'm
Pretty
gonna go
Brown
ahead.
Eyes.
Huh?
Pretty brown eyes.
Pretty Brown Eyes could have came out yesterday.
Oh, mint condition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The
All
way
right,
you treat me.
Man, with
Patra had the best rose.
She did. Patra did. You know what?
I feel like Stokely from mint condition does not get enough roses.
He don't.
Like I've been thinking about that a lot. Like
Who that?
Stokely, when you think about Stokely
Yeah.
from the lead singer from mint condition,
He's
he
brilliant.
does not get enough roses for
Yeah.
all that he's
No, you're
done
right.
in his career.
You wrong.
And so I wanted to put that out there. If Stokely's on the line,
Stokely is dope,
man,
but
bro.
he's always in the shadow of Raphael Sadiq.
Man, Tony,
It feels good.
you are absolutely right.
Tony.
Yeah.
Feels good.
No, because the rap part ain't aged well.
Oh no.
The verse three is another
No lady, Canelo, got a nice fella. Next week she had a rhyme. I can tell it. They had the rhythm and I had the rhyme.
So
hey, it was back then though. That's what it was in the 90s.
So
yeah, but I'm saying it ain't aged well.
So
anything Whitney Houston did, anything Mariah Carey did, anything Monica did.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my beautiful wife talked about this song earlier, and we think this is probably like top tier, God tier songs that age well. So I'm gonna post it up for y'all. Tell me if y'all agree.
Return of the Man. Oh my God.
Return of the Man.
People still gonna sing it.
Anyway, like I literally walk different when that song comes. You know what I'm saying?
That shit still goes hard though. It still goes hard. I won't lie.
All right, we got. Oh, somebody said "Let's Kick It" by Escape.
Kicking that by Escape.
We got.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be good.
We got.
So that Escape.
Yes.
Pony. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, it was like a whole resurgence of Pony at one point in time because like some white internet kid came and like made it his own. He's like he do like the you know how they do the pedal thing, and he made his own beat with it, and he can sing pretty good too. He got some soul. But it was probably about 5 years ago, and it was like a whole new resurgence of Pony. Like it was the kids was on it, you know. He was like, man, we've been doing this. You know?
Somebody said Monica is greater than
Monica
Brandy.
over Brandy.
Which they just
I don't
announced.
know, man. I don't know about that. I don't think I agree with that.
That's the next verses. They just announced it today. They just announced it.
I don't agree with that one.
Tweet. Oh,
Tweet.
Wow. Look. So this is what we're gonna do. So I'm glad somebody brought that up.
Wow.
This is 90s or early 2000s. What do you feel is an underrated R&B album that's a classic?
Tweet Hummingbird.
Southern Hummingbird. Yep.
Southern Hummingbird. Definitely underrated. Definitely.
I gotta think about it. Y'all give me go to Shadow. I'm coming back.
I would have to say, because it's still one of my favorites, I would have to go with Groove Theory's debut album.
Yeah.
I love that album. I think it's got more love. But yeah.
A lot of people slept on Lucy Pearl too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, with Ali Shaheed.
Yeah.
Don Robinson. Before they changed it up to Don
Robinson. Butterfly was a flawless album.
But it wasn't underrated, really. It was like
it was
like a really successful.
It was underrated amongst black people. I feel like when they speak of classic R&B albums, they don't bring up Butterfly, and Butterfly was a brilliant R&B album. It was flawless.
It really was. To me, it kind of falls in that neo soul.
Yes, it does. Yes,
yeah.
It does.
I don't know why I always go to bat for these two, but they're always two albums I think of. I think Donell Jones' Where I Want to Be album is an underrated album. But the But the album I would definitely say I always feel is the most underrated album R&B wise that came out 90s, early 2000s. Dave Hollister, Chicago 85, the movie.
That's a good one.
So this is Dave Hollister right after Blackstreet.
Yeah, this Dave I was like right, this is the second album he did Get on Him.
Yep.
Chicago 85 with One Woman Man and
yeah.
Like
That's the one with Girl, I gotta go. I can't stay.
You said things would change.
Yeah. That was,
bruh.
Yeah, that was a real sleeper too. That was a real sleeper. Yo,
bruh.
I was having commentary one night, right? At Square One. Dave Hollister walks in the building.
Randomly
perform with the band. Does Purple
What do you do?
Rain
Yeah, what do you do in that situation?
at commentary?
He did
what do you do in that situation?
He did a cover of Purple Rain. It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. He just walked in and was just cool. You know what I'm saying? So he seen the vibe going and everybody enjoyed, and he got on the microphone and sung Purple Rain with the band.
Man, I wish you had that on video. I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, my buddies, them them Hill boys. Javon Hill and all them. They brought him in. They was like, hey man, what you doing with Jacksonville on them Tuesday night?
What up, Duval? Javon Hill, he's the musical director for Fantasia now.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Man, dope. I guess I'm gonna go through all my questions there, man. I got hype when somebody said tweet. I was like, yeah, I had to ask that question because Southern Hummingbird is like so damn classic. Like the first,
there's a song on there called "Beautiful." It's still one of my favorite songs ever.
The song she has with Bilal, best friend.
Like, yeah.
I did not know Bilal.
I gotta go back and listen to that one.
Firstborn Second is underrated.
Yeah, Firstborn Second.
Living.
Listen.
That was a Dr. Dre produced beat too.
Yeah,
I remember when that came out. And then it was
I got. Oh, this is a good one. I'm gonna go back to movies real quick. So I'm trying to think. I got like two more questions. Then I'm good after that. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna ask the question. Then I'm gonna start this off. So with movies, what movie? Your personal opinion. What movie do you feel has changed the scope of any genre when it comes to movies? So the question once again: what movie do you feel has changed the scope of any genre of movies? I'm going to start off and say Blade. And the reason I'm saying Blade is because when Marvel movies and superheroes were not doing good, New Line Cinema took a chance on that Marvel property. Wesley Snipes killed that role, and that's what started everybody to want to think twice about doing like superhero movies and making them a certain way. And like everybody will always go back, like some people say, like that was like the first black superhero movie. But I would go out to say that if it wasn't for Wesley Snipes doing that movie, then a lot of the like DC universe or Marvel universe would not be doing what they're doing with live action movies now. Had that movie not been made. My personal opinion. So I think that's the scope of like superhero movies.
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
No, I was going to support that because I feel like that Blade movie was the first time that that superheroes were like less cool. A lot of like killing, which you see a lot. You know, if you think about the early Superman movies and all the early superhero type movies, it was always kind of like slapsticky almost, you know, very try to keep it comical. But Blade, to me, it was like the first time you really saw like blood, gore, and it just had a dark kind of feel to it. It was a more serious kind of superhero movie.
Right.
I think Harlem Nights changed the way that we saw the comedic ensemble script. Like the way that was written, the way that it was cast, everything about it, I just feel like was revolutionary in every way. And that's one of my favorite movies to this day of all time.
I want to comment. Can I comment on that real quick? the reason I'm glad you brought that up. I remember Kevin Hart in an interview somewhere, and he said that like how comedians are like more competitive now when it comes to movie roles and all the stuff that happened. He said, when are the comedians now gonna sit together and try to recreate a new type of genre, like another movie for like that Harlem Nights and those movies did? He's like, no comedians want to do that no more. It's like everybody's just trying to be the next top comedian.
Listen, teamwork make the dream work.
Well, you know, he's trying to bring back that Sidney Poitier and
Uptown on a Saturday night or something like that.
Oh wow, I didn't know
something
that.
like that. Yeah, Uptown 85.
I didn't hear about
Uptown on a Saturday night was the name of the original one.
Okay, but yeah, he's trying to do that because I watched that documentary they got on him. Like I might f this up or something, and you can see him really. It's you won't like it. Yeah, you won't like it.
I was just gonna say, so Ja brought up Coming to America, and Coming to America has a place in my heart, just because of the storyline. For me, I feel like that was the first time, like, at least comedians, right, took it to this like more of like a serious kind of a role. You know, even though it was comedic, it showed Eddie Murphy with money. It showed black people with status, and it showed how like we had our own thing going on, and we just happened to come to America to do some other shit. But we still had the support. We still had our own kind of. So I love that, you know, Eddie Murphy took it to that level. But I think that after you watch the movie and you read the credits, and you like, damn, Eddie Murphy played this person. He played that person. He played that person. I'm like, oh. So that added like another layer. So yeah, John.
That added a layer, but Eddie Murphy could have gave some niggas some jobs. Okay. He playing all the roles.
But you would not remember the motherfuckers right now the same way you remember the barber from the barbershop, the white guy, the white Jewish guy.
You remember everybody in that movie. You remember everybody in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Randy Watson.
So if it had been more people, anybody, nobody else could have played Randy Watson. Randy Watson is too iconic.
She had a t-shirt on that was saying the Randy Watson concert. She had on the video that said Randy Watson live in concert, and I was like, yo, I need that shirt.
You gotta know to know that.
You gotta really know.
But listen, my pick is
know
Matrix.
What movie?
I think the Matrix changed kung fu movies, period.
Oh, the Matrix.
Like they got this slow motion thing in every all these new age kung fu movies
where they slow it down.
Yeah, they do the camera turn and all that shit now.
My issue with the Matrix is like, you know, the white guy had to
by a black woman.
Black guy to be the one. Well, why couldn't the black guy just be the one? I mean, if I have to,
you know that role was meant for Will Smith.
Yeah, I know, but if I have to, it just didn't make sense. Will Smith slept on something, but they found somebody else. And also, we would be remiss not to mention, She's Gotta Have It.
Yeah,
because black femme sexuality and having multiple partners, casual sex, and all of that, with all the respectability politics, that was revolutionary. Shouts out to Spike Lee, believing in us and telling our story. I rock with him. But yeah.
I think, so yeah, right. Definitely. I think so I'm gonna do two things. So one, I'm gonna start with you, Eb. With you, I agree with that. I also agree with I also want to stick with Spike Lee and say School Days, because School Days brought to light yeah, so I have to give it that. As far as with Moses, what you said about the Matrix, I think the Matrix not only did that for kung fu, I think it did it for cinematography in general. And when I can't pronounce their name, the Wachowskis, whatever they is, the Wachowski brothers, or whatever they are, or what they go by now, because I know they changed. I know they changed their gender. Their storytelling, because if you even look at the story of it, and even the theories they do to this day, it's so many open holes. Because the theory, so like the one theory of the movie is that Neo was never really the one. It's always been Agent Smith.
Right. Right.
Because if you think about it, like the one that was born in the Matrix, Neo was really never born in the Matrix. No. Agent Smith was, because he was a program. He gave sentience, and the only way the Matrix would make sense if it balanced itself out, which that's what ended up happening. So it's like so that's why I said like the storytelling is so deep, and then just like how it translates to the real world too, to certain stuff.
It changed my life when it dropped. Just because the red and blue pill theory, you know.
It got stupid though.
Oh yeah,
I feel like after the Matrix,
I love you too damn much.
Yeah, it got a little
it became
stupid.
too cerebral.
Yeah,
but the cinematography of it was A+. You know what I'm saying? Like all the movies, like Wanted and all that. Remember they were bending the bullets and Wanted.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. All that was just biting off the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all that stuff.
But as a nerd in the final movie, the fight in the city that reminded me of Dragon Ball Z, that gave me hope that they could do a good Dragon Ball Z movie. And we saw what happened when Dragon Ball Z came out. So I was there. I was very disappointed. Hold on. Yes. I think that I believe that they did.
They stole the storyline from a black woman.
And they had to settle with her out of court.
Yes, they did. Thank you, Dennis Riding, for reminding us of that.
Yes. So my last question deals with movies again, and unless I bring up an R&B question or somebody else bring up an R&B question. So, what movie do you feel was a dud at a theater? So that means when it first came out, it was garbage. They gave it bad ratings. People didn't say they liked it or nothing like that. But then once it came to DVD or went to TV, it became a cult classic.
Friday.
Which one?
Friday.
Definitely Friday, but it's some other ones like Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, Pineapple Express.
Yeah, it's some How High.
How High.
Baby's Kids. Wow. How High. Half Baked.
Half Baked.
Half Baked.
I don't even know if Purple Rain did good in the theaters, did it?
Purple Rain came out of
Big Trouble from 92. We didn't discuss Boys in the Hood. We did,
Big Trouble in Little China.
The conversation 90s.
Oh yeah, Big Trouble in Little China was considered a box office failure, and then it ended up making 75 million once it came on DVD, and that's one of my all-time favorite movies. I love Big Trouble in Little China.
Wow. Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite movies, especially when the dude's head explodes.
Oh yeah, when he got because they killed the bad guy instead of getting mad and fight him, he just made his head explode. He just made his body explode. I think everybody liked that movie more so for the dude that everybody thought was Raiden, because when they
you look like Lord Raiden.
Yeah,
I've never seen the movie.
Oh
my god!
You would love that movie. It's like a trucker classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll like it. You'll like it. I promise you, you'll like it. Big Trouble in Little China. You'll like it.
You will like it.
Is the bad guy Asian?
Yes.
Is it an Asian villain?
Yes,
all
Asian
of them
villain.
have Asian in this movie.
Okay. Well, see, it can work. It can work, LJ.
I agree. You were saying something, Shadow. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lopan. That was his name. The main villain was named Lopan.
He who shall not be mentioned. We ain't gonna even say his name no more.
Shadow, you know how Moses feels about this whole
Mandarin
can't be an Asian bad guy thing. So that's what this is.
What? No, I don't know. Tell me.
So in the superhero genre, especially modern day, they getting a lot of money from China, right? China is supporting these movies, but China is they like, hey, we're not supporting the movie if we're depicted as the villain. So Marvel goes out their way to whitewash a lot of the characters that are supposed to be Asian. You know what I'm saying? Because Marvel made like flawed characters, and and in their movies, we always the bad guy. Like the Westerner is always the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? He come over there with his cocky attitude and get beat by some little guy with some Wing Chun. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's only fair to keep our superheroes, especially when they got background in China and stuff. Let them be Chinese.
So my thing is, if you write the check, you can control the narrative.
I think,
and if I was funding a movie, you know what I'm saying, I would want the superhero to me. I don't know, similar to me in a way.
And then they got two
Right.
You got Iron Man. Everybody knows Iron Man's biggest villain is the Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
They put fake Mandarins in the movie.
That's true.
2 fake Mandarins in the movie, just so they don't have to have an Asian villain.
But you know that, and I agree with you on that. I think what ended up happening now more so than ever, and I hate to say it, but because of all the backlash has been coming from everything that's current, people at Marvel and other places are like, you know what, we need to fix the mistake. And so what they end up doing, the Mandarin they're actually bringing back as the real Mandarin, being from Asia, but instead of him being Iron Man's main villain, he's now going to be the villain of a secondary same team.
So now we can have a villain. We can have an Asian villain as long as we got an Asian hero.
Yes, that's how those movies work.
Balance.
Kung Fu is one of my favorite genre movies, and that's how that works. And I'm not complaining; they're great movies.
I mean, the thing, power and the money and the resources to do that, then you can do that.
All right, so I'm gonna leave it up to Moses, Shadow, or Ebony to ask one more question dealing with music.
If I ever fall in love again, or somebody's rocking knocking the boots.
Ever fall in love again?
All right, hold up. So before I answer, are we talking about if I ever fall in love again, the studio version or the acapella version?
I was going acapella on you, and that was going to be my winner.
The acapella, knocking the boots. Then,
without a doubt,
I gotta go knocking the boots. Without a doubt, acapella, I go knocking the boots. If it was the studio version, you'll have a little bit more of that because that beat's a little bit slower, more sensual. So, acapella, like, I appreciate the harmonious tones, but
I love. Who was that? That was Shy, right? Was that Shy?
Yeah, it was Shy. What'd you say, Moses?
Shy.
Yeah.
I'm going with Ever Fall in Love Again because I just think like if you play it, more people will sing along.
Yep.
You know,
it has more crowd. It has more crowd appeal.
Now, let me go back there real quick, Ebony. When we're talking about these songs, are we now talking about this in a crowd setting or in an intimate setting?
I'm saying how it's personally affected your life.
Okay. Look, everybody
because my experience with those two songs are totally different.
Yeah, that's what I said.
If I ever fall in love, I remember watching the video sitting in the living room with my family. The other song was no family there. It was just me and my boo. Something totally different.
You know, I kind of don't really even know what the song about.
Exactly, John.
Never Fall in Love. I don't really know what that song's about. Like, next time I fall in love,
like, he rapping to a girl and saying, "Hey, look, man, I wish you was the next person I fall in love with.
Just like you.
It's gonna be like you.
It's gonna be your friend.
Body rocking."
He all screaming in high notes. He all like, "My friend." I'm like, what is this about? Like, what's up with his friend? You know what
I guess it's
like, is she his friend?
He's talking about, he was in the friend zone, and you was just saying, look, man, I like how we vibing. So the next time I fall in love with somebody, make my friend.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like,
so look, so if you fall in love with a woman, right, who put you in the friend zone, why would the next time you fall in love be with a friend? See what I'm saying? The song is not, it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
just setting himself up, second time around.
Wally, what's your
live in the friend zone.
Wally and his wife in the 90s. What was y'all 90s jam? What's you and Charmaine jam?
Oh, you talking about Wally? Yeah. What is your 90s jam?
Him and Charmaine was kicking it in the 90s.
It was old while it might be. Old Wally might be some trick dad or something. You know what I'm saying? New Wally, I'm sure it's some fucking Casey and JoJo or something.
Oh my life, living for someone like you.
He gonna go
I thank God that I finally found you.
Getting a delay. There you go.
Oh man.
Oh man, this is so fun, y'all. I really enjoyed it.
Man, thank y'all so much. Oh God, I think we probably made everybody's day, especially with everything that's going on. Before we wrap up this show, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been watching this wonderful event. As you all know, this is a group effort because I cannot be doing this wonderful show without my family, Ebony Payne and Moses West. So definitely, as always, thank y'all so much for helping me with this event. Oh yeah. That's how I got to do everything. We gotta get it in. Gotta get it in. Shadow. If anybody was looking for you, Shadow, on social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I can be found on Instagram at March 4th, MERCA number 4 ORTH. That's me on Instagram. It's just Kingb Sawyerr. Just out there doing my thing, man. Crazy.
Gotcha. Ebony, where can they find you at to find out what's going on in your life?
EbonyPayneEnglish.com, EbonyPayneEnglish. That's also the Cash App. And the Instagram and Twitter is at Ebony Oshun, EbonyOshun.
All right. Moses West, where can they find you?
Facebook, I'm just Moses West, MOSESWEST. On Instagram, you can find me at Poetry Nigga. All one word.
Spell it out for
Nigga, not ER. That's racist.
Also,
I try to reach you on Instagram, Moses. I couldn't find you.
Out too.
Say that one more time.
LJ ain't your real name. Shadow ain't your real name.
Oh yeah, that is my real name.
Those are all my real names. And I answer to all those names.
For anybody looking for me, y'all can always find me at ELJA Poetry on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So I'm gonna let you guys know now. We will be unfortunately having to take another month off, only because September is going to be a busy month for a lot of us, especially with me doing a poetry festival getting ready to come up, which Ebony Payne will be a part of as one of our panels. And we have a lot of great things going on. But please keep in contact with us. We're gonna do. I think we're gonna do something special for October. I'm trying to figure out what it's gonna be for October. We probably could do something Halloween for October. We could probably make it happen. We don't know. Maybe we'll bring in more guests this time around and just have a big panel and just talk about scary movies and books and stuff. I don't know, but we're gonna do something good. But Shadow, once again, thank you so much for being a part of this. I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Shadow,
my God,
thank y'all.
And everybody on Facebook, if you ain't following these people, follow these people. Get on their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and show them some love.
Also check out at SoFried Poetry at SoFriedPoetry.com for more information about spoken word in the South and all over the world.
Definitely.
That pressure. Send my regards to Buki as well, please.
Most definitely. Thank you.
All right.
I love y'all. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Happy birthday, D-Rod.
Happy birthday,
bro. Yes, sir.
And I think I talked up something because my wonderful wife said yes, scary movie. So that may be the move for October. So we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Love y'all. And always remember good.
We'll call one of our sociopath poets to join us for the conversation.
I already know who to call. I'll let y'all know. Always remember y'all. Love y'all. Purpose on popularity. Peace.